Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. I am back. Anything Goes is back. This is such a joy. First episode of 2025. I do have a special guest to the right of me. I will introduce him in a moment. But I wanted to just kick off this welcome back video, essentially. I say video because I look down the barrel of the camera. So if you are watching on Spotify, video or YouTube, hello, my darlings. If you are just listening to the docile tone of my voice in Apple or Spotify, hello. But I wanted to kick off the episode by just setting you all up, explaining where I've been. Obviously, I did not begin the podcast again in January. Apologies. But sis has been busy. I have been very blessed, booked and busy. So the podcast is honestly a high priority. It will now, I have begun. This was a big thing for me. I didn't want to re-begin it until I was ready to fully re-begin it. And so this is the relaunch for 2025, which I'm so excited about, which means that I will now be producing yet again another episode every single week for the foreseeable future of 2025. But I wanted to kick it off with this particular episode, which is really just a intention for 2025 and where we're at and plans and what's to come, because 2025 absolutely will be the biggest year of my life. And the two biggest things that is in store for myself and Ryan, who is my special guest, is the warehouse. So a new business venture called the Dreamhaus Studio, and babies. So I always say in 2025, I'm getting pregnant and I'm getting paid, and that is exactly the plan. So this episode is all around the intention setting of that. We have a huge update on the warehouse, which is really why I brought Ryan on, my very special guest. And we couldn't, and this was another reason we couldn't actually, well, I didn't want to. I chose not to record this episode until we had the entire story, and we officially have the entire story, which I'm so relieved and happy to report, and that's what we're going to discuss today. So welcome back, basically. Welcome back to Anything Goes. You hopefully are going to be obsessed with the sound quality officially. We have updated all of the equipment, and I plan on giving you as much value, as much love, as much motivation, as much inspiration, as much anything goes chaos as humanly possible. But welcome to my beloved co-host today. Hello, darling.
Hello, baby.
How are you feeling?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's been a good start to the year. It's already had its roller coasters.
Yeah.
But I'm ready to kick it off. I'm ready to kick into gear, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we've been doing that very behind the scenes, but I feel like we're ready to like publicly share.
Yeah, we have been very busy behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, we've already like 2 months in, and we've had a big ride already.
Okay, so this episode we're going to break down. I just wanted to be like, yes, we're trying for babies. It's a big, exciting thing. We're actually, straight after this episode, going to record a 2-part fertility journey episode, the TTC, Trying to Conceive episodes.
Yes, we are.
So we will do that straight after. But this is the kickoff episode, and it's a huge one because we are literally picking up the keys to our brand new warehouse, literally brand new as well.
Yeah.
It is a brand new warehouse on Friday, February the 28th. So, and that's going to be a dominant force in both of our lives for 2025.
Yeah, it's going to take up a lot of our time. Oh, for the first section of it.
Yeah, for the foreseeable future.
Once we get it up and going, though, and
Yeah.
work out all the kinks, it's going to be, hopefully, going to start rolling in and working itself out. Mm-hmm. But we will be heavily involved in that. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so let's tell the story. So here's where we're at. So I had perfectly and correctly, look, if you follow me on Instagram, which 99.9% of you do, I had shared, a month ago.
Yeah.
It was literally a month ago. I had shared a post that we had, that was also up until that point very behind the scenes on the contract we had received on the new warehouse, or it wasn't new, but a warehouse that we were going into and the exciting dream of the Dreamhouse Studio, and we were picking up the keys on Valentine's Day, and rah, rah, rah. It was an enormous announcement, and it was so beautifully met by all of you. Honestly, the response that I got was some of the most supportive, overwhelming, beautiful, kind, incredible love that I have literally ever received. And I know you felt that as well.
Yeah, it was a beautiful space, and we had the contract.
Hang on, I'm gonna set it up. Don't you go yet.
Oh, I'm firing too soon.
He's firing too soon. So I'm just saying, so grateful, unbelievably grateful. So I shared that because I could share that, right? Signatures had been done by all parties. We'd paid our deposit. We'd been absolutely assured by the real estate. We were picking those keys up on Feb 14th. All that was to happen now was a little bit more paperwork, and that was just totally normal.
Well, yeah, that's what he was telling us.
That's what he was telling us.
Yeah.
Sit tight, rah, rah, rah. That was all good and well. So then, anyway, and I'm going to explain all of what happened. Then you can explain the bullshit, right? So people don't have to be like, what, how, where? Like, I'm going to just tell the whole story in like a minute, and then we'll unpack it. We'll go back and unpack it. So that all happened. And then literally a couple of days before we were to get, and then you can unpack this in a minute, but like before we were to get the keys, we just got an email out of nowhere saying rejected. Like, oh, now we've rejected. It's like, give us your bank details because we're going to transfer money back. We will unpack that in a sec. So that was fucking bullshit. It was heartbreaking. It was stressful. It was illegal. Like there was so much wrongness, and we'll tell the story. But basically, to cut to where we're at now, instead of getting bitter, we got better. Instead of fighting against something, we simply fought for our vision.
Yeah.
And just continued to go, well, fuck them, fuck this. This is a classic David and Goliath story. We're just going to keep going and like not fight and be like, oh, this is wrong and we could have you and we'll take you to court, which we could have.
There's no point in that either, because why would we fight and want to be with the landlord that's then going to be better with us? And it's just going to be shit. So we opted against that. We could have, so in our rights, went and found solicitors and fought that.
Absolutely.
But like you said, we decided to be better rather than bitter.
Yeah. And so on we kicked. We did not take a minute off. We kept looking for the perfect space. And I do genuinely believe that in life everything happens for you, not to you. And I kept saying to Ryan, it sucked. Like I cried in the shower. Like there was so much stress behind the scenes, or fucking frustration. I was angry. I was disappointed. I was confused. But I also consistently relent on faith of like mindset, in the sense that I was like, there's a reason for this. Something better is coming.
Yeah.
Anyway, cut to, we absolutely found the dream house, dream space, better location, better frontage, better design, better everything, which sounds crazy because the other one was beautiful. But there was so much that we were already like, oh, we're stressed about how this is going to work, and we can unpack that. But all this is to say, and then I'm going to hand the mic to Ryan and he can share the shit moment of it all. But the Dreamhaus Studio is alive and well. The vision is about to be launched as of Friday, February the 28th.
Yeah, we actually got the news yesterday.
Yeah.
That the contract's good. Pick the keys up on Friday. So we are literally on a high at the moment. So
yeah,
we're good. After the low that it put us in, not getting the other warehouse. Yeah. Like the low that we had to sit in for a good 2 weeks.
Yeah. Probably a week of paperwork, of like back and forth in and fighting, and not fighting, just demanding explanations. But we'll get into that. So what I wanted to say in a nutshell is that as of recording this, what's the date today, my love?
24th of February.
It is the 24th of February. This will launch on Monday. I don't even know, March the something. The vision is alive and well. You will have seen on Instagram and watched us pick up the keys, because I absolutely plan on sharing it all. Yeah. But we wanted to unpack what happened in the process of why we launched the one we absolutely thought we were getting and had legal rights to, and then we did not. And as I said, fundamentally, so excitedly, it all made perfect sense. I was like, this is exactly why this happened, because now we have better marketing, better frontage, better space. Like it's a brand new space. It's a beautiful space, the space that we've acquired. It's in Burleigh.
And no doubtably you've driven by it and you've seen it, and then the moment we share it, you'll be like, I know where that is.
If you're a local GC person.
If you're from the Gold Coast and have driven past, you would automatically know where it is. That's the power of where this one is.
Yeah. So brand new, we are going to have a beautiful time over the next 4 to 6 weeks, fitting it out, building the walls. We're not going to build anything. The builder's going to build walls. Crystal, our incredible designer, will be designing it all with us, and we will be lady balls and man balls deep in work.
In construction and planning and making the space even more beautiful.
But did you want to maybe take... So that's the synopsis, friends. We got it. We lost it. We got better, not bitter. We held on to the dream. We kept going. We fought for our vision, not against what had happened to us. And we sit here today happy, successful, excited, proud, ready, and on a fucking high and a vibe.
Yeah. And
but
in saying that, I really enjoy our new landlord too.
Oh my God, we're obsessed.
We met with him, we spoke with him. His vision's very much similar to ours and how he wants to work the space, because he's actually redoing the space next to ours.
Yeah.
And then that's going to further enhance our space. So we're really looking forward to it. But the shit of the shit.
Let's go 10. So we've got 20 minutes. We actually have so much to do after this. I was like, we have 30 minutes to get this bad boy out. I'm looking at Ryan's watch. So we've got 20 minutes. Let's go like 10 minutes max if we need it to unpack what actually happened. I'm all about vulnerability and honesty, and I want to tell the story, and then we can talk about, I think, 10 minutes of then how this new relationship with these new incredible owners came to be, and then it just how beautiful it was.
Yeah.
So take us back, baby.
So we found this space. When did we find it? Early January.
Whenever, yeah.
Early January, found this beautiful space, and we looked at it at the end of last year. I found it online, and I said to Anna, I'm like, how about this space? And she's like, that's the dream. I was like, well, why can't we make the dream happen now? Why do we have to wait? So we re-looked at it, come back up again earlier in the year. Mm-hmm. So I drove her by it, and we fell in love with it. It was going to be the Dreamhaus, and we didn't have a name of it then.
No.
But when we rocked up to it, she's like, oh, it's the Dreamhaus.
Baby, you're being so like, you are instrumental, and you were such a leader in every way on this. Like you found it, you put it in front of me, you kept putting it in front of me, because I kept being like, it's too much. Like it's the dream. That's where I would ultimately want to end up.
Well, the backstory of that goes because we were looking for warehouses. Like, I don't know if anyone knows this, but we've been looking at warehouses and spaces for the past year and a little bit over a year now. Mm-hmm. And I've let you and Katie, like look at the spaces, and I sat back, and that it didn't match what I was envisioning in my head. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sit in the background, and because you two had your thing going on, and I was like, I don't feel it. Everyone we went and looked at, I'm like, this doesn't feel like the space to me. It doesn't feel right for me for what I envisioned. Mm-hmm. And then when I found this one online, and I looked at it, I was like, this is what I envisioned. Mm-hmm. And I also believe that by us looking and finding this space allowed us to get the vision in our head to then 100%. Once we got denied, when we found the new space, we're like, we can actually do everything we want to do in this new space. And I think that other space got put in front of us to basically just give us the vision.
110%.
So I don't, as heartbreaking as it was that we didn't get it.
In the moment.
Like, I think we needed to see it.
Yeah.
And then get denied on it to, like, put that fire in our belly.
Yeah, and basically what had happened, 100%, yeah. I agree, 100%. And what had happened was, so Ryan had found it, Ryan had walked us through it. Ryan cleverly took me past it. He knew exactly what he was doing. And then so what then happened even was you're like, what would we call it? You were asking me, you're like, baby, have you got a name in mind? Like, what are we going to call our warehouse when we find it? And then
I was like, well, and I'm like, oh, well, like you said, I go, it's your dream space. Like when I pitched it to you, you're like the dream. And then we're like, and you're like, oh, it's the dream house.
I go, oh my God, it's the dream house.
I've got it. It's the dream house. I'm like, well, I go, I'm down. I'm like, that sounds like a place I want to be and where I want to be with the vision.
Yeah.
I was like, tick it off. I'm like, write it down. And then when we got home, literally we got home and you were online doing up designs and putting the name out there. It's like, this is how I envision. I'm like, I like it.
Now, we had not applied for it at that point. He drove me past, pulled the name out of me. That was it. We were like, we're on. Applied. I flew up.
Yeah.
I was really stressed. Then I started to be like, oh my God, this feels so big. You were like, come up, baby, let's do this together. Because then you left for work on like the Tuesday. I was like, I'm in an Irene. I think we'd walk through it.
Yeah, because we'd walked through it and then I had to go back to work.
So at that point, you drove me past it on like the Friday or Saturday. The Monday we were able to walk through it. The Tuesday you left for work.
Yep.
You were like, baby, go, apply for it. I was like, oh, it's so big. This is so terrifying. What the fuck are we doing? And then you were like, come up, like come to me and let's do it together, which I just like adored. Then we applied. Literally within 24 hours, we heard back.
Yep.
And
they were very good like that.
They were fantastic. Like the real estate guy was fantastic. I feel like he'll listen to this. Like he was amazing. His communication was incredible. He definitely had met my energy. And then, he was like, yeah, yours is absolutely the strongest, blah, 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 blah.
Well, he'd put through, so he reckons there was about 15, 20 people had walked through over that week. And out of those, he'd picked the strongest candidates and he'd put it in front. Yeah, 4. So he'd put it in front of the old tenants, the exiting tenants. So to give you a backlog of the story, there was tenants that had the space, had upgraded the space, but outgrown the space.
Very quickly, yeah.
So they then wanted to break lease because they'd hired a new warehouse out and done that out, and then they needed to find new tenants.
Yeah, cue us. So we apply, and then he's like, yep, you're in front of them now. I believe yours is the strongest, but it's obviously up to them. So then 24 hours after that, I get a call and he was like, congratulations, like they've picked you. This is it.
Yeah.
So then it was like, here's what, and I'm screaming. I was like, oh my God. And he was like, yep, all we need to do now. So we're putting you in front of the landlord, pay your deposit. We'll get an executed lease signed, or like we'll get all the parties to sign, etc. That occurs. Money's paid.
So we've got a
deposit is paid.
Tenanted contract.
Yeah, deposit is paid.
So yeah, we've paid the deposit, we've signed papers, and then it was left to the landlord to just give his final approval.
Then it was, we were waiting for a solicitor's letter. He was like, yep, here's what happens. The landlord just has to sign it. It can take 4 days. It can take 7. There's always a little bit of admin. And I was like, perfect, no stress, that's fine. But he's like, it's yours. And in the interim, I am communicating every other day saying, we've got a designer. Can we bring her through? He was like, love this proactiveness. Yes, absolutely. Crystal and I do another walkthrough. I share some of that online. She's measuring things out. He's like, I will send through the floor plans. Like, it's ours.
We've gone to the bank and we've done the
bank guarantee.
We've worked out our
public liability insurance, all the things that is required.
We were ready to go, and like we said, we'd organised and we'd done the key exchange. So when we expected to get the property, so everything was rolling. We were excited, and
we were just waiting.
Everything was going perfect, and then
literally, so then it was a Wednesday. I remember in launch week. By the way, this all happened, just so everyone knows, in my self-love school launch week. So I get an email like 4 p.m. on a Wednesday afternoon, out of nowhere. Now, remember, in a week later, the following Friday, we were meant to pick up the keys. At that point, all we were waiting was a signature on a piece of paper, and the last communication I had was like, "Yep, it's going to come through any minute." And we just walked Crystal back through the designer. The next email I receive was, "Hi, Anna and Ryan. Unfortunately, just to let you know, it's now been rejected because the owner, the landlord, has done I'm just going to tell everyone everything. The landlord had done his own due diligence and it requires like accessibility with the council, and he can't wait. And that can take 6 months. So you're rejected. Now, I am never here to fuck spiders. So within 0.3 of a second, I was on the phone to the Gold Coast City Council head of planning, Liam, who was phenomenal, having a very honest conversation with him about the entire situation, and found out a lot of information just in regards to then why we went underground as well on all of our decisions, because I have a pack of very hungry psychopaths who watch and stalk my life and had started to weed themselves into calling councils and real estates and so on and so forth, which he thought was hilarious. And yeah, he just basically told me, he was like, mate, your plans are fantastic. Like, your plans are great. From what you can tell, what you're telling me, that completely, you would absolutely not need this accessibility thing. It's got nothing to do with that. I can also confirm that the owner, there's not one comment or remark made on this property
saying that the landlord's called at all.
So they lied.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was then like, I'm pissed off. So I'm calling the real estate. I'm emailing the real estate respectfully, calmly. It was all dealt with extremely respectfully. Yeah. And even speaking to the owner and the owner of that particular real estate said, hey, he was like, this is the most respectful, pleasant complaint I've ever had in my life. But I was like, fuck you. And this is bullshit. And Goliath doesn't get to just like beat down David and lie about it. That was my piss off.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've done 10 minutes, but long story short, the owner, because I ended up calling the owner of the real estate in its entirety. I wanted to go above the worker.
Yeah.
And he basically said, let me get on the phone to the landlord. Because I said, just don't fucking lie to me. That's my number one thing. Never lie to me. So this has occurred. That's fine. Landlord is God. That's fine. But tell me the truth. Like, don't fuck me in the ass without lube. Like, at least tell me the truth.
Don't make up stories. Fucking tell us what's happened. So we found out that someone had offered a higher bid. So
above.
Although we had a contract in that, and the real estate's within their right, because nothing had been, like, the landlord hadn't done
signed
the
off
final
on the
approval
last
on it.
signature.
So he was still showing tenants and that through it, and then getting other offers put in front of him. So because we hadn't signed, like, it wasn't finalised, we could have pulled out at any time. Also,
but ethically, legally, ethically, financially, we absolutely had a case. And the boss said that. The boss was like, mate, you can pursue this, absolutely. Like, you're well within your right. I really respected him for that. But he was like, and I said to him, I said, well, why would I? I said, at the end of the day, if I do that, I'm fighting with a landlord for their property. I get it. The court awards it. And then I'm dealing with a landlord who fucking hates us. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And he goes, exactly. Yeah. And I was like, this is the game. This is the commercial real estate game. That's when I was like, fuck. So I just said, look, thank you so much for your time. That's what I wanted. I just wanted the truth. And I even said, I remember at the time, I actually said to him, I said, this is my piss off though. We weren't even offered the negotiation to meet it. And he goes, no, mate, it was above asking. And I was like, okay, fuck them, it's theirs. Yeah. I was like, that's fine. We wish you nothing but the best. And he was even like, I really hope that we're like, you become a client. And I was like, we probably won't.
Yeah, no.
I was like, you've absolutely
put a bit of a sour
burned me.
taste in our mouth with the way they handled it. Like, just don't lie to us.
That was my piss off.
Yeah.
So then that was it. We were like, game over. I had a cry in the shower because I was fighting this. So all of this happened in launch week. Yeah. That was Wednesday afternoon.
Week for you. Emotionally, that is.
The man, I won't say names and stuff, but the boss called me back on the Friday at like 5 p.m. And that's when I was like, okay, game over.
Yeah.
Like, I can wipe my hands clean now. I can walk away with my head high. Because also there's that one that was, look, this never really admittedly played too much on my mind, but I had said to Ryan, I'm like, fuck, I've shared this. Like, this is vulnerable for me.
Well, not only have you shared it, We've then sourced out a designer.
Paid.
I've rung friends to come and because we needed extra work done. So I've let other friends know that, hey, I might need your hand in this and that. And then after all that's done, like the 14th come and I'm getting my friends call me and they're like, hey, I'm available to come through. And I was like, oh, fuck, bro, I haven't told you we got screwed over. Yeah. And he's like, oh, that sucks. I'm like, yeah, it really does. Yeah. He goes, well, when you find a new space, I'm still available.
And so this would have been, so this was all on the Friday of, like I said, of Self-Love School launch. And I'm in week 3 essentially. So that all happened. So that's the story. We got it. We got fucked over. We didn't pursue it because fuck that. We didn't want to get bitter. We wanted to get better. We forged ahead. Like I said, so I had a little cry. I honestly thought I would weep. I thought it would take me out a little bit longer. I really did. I thought that it would impact me more than it did. But when I finally let it land, because I was initially not fighting for it, I was fighting for an answer initially, and I wanted the truth, and I got it. Literally, I hung up the phone from him. It was like 5 o'clock. I'd run. I'd done everything. I needed a shower, so I went and had my like evening shower, and I said to you, baby, can you just come and hold the space for me? I think I'm ready to cry now.
Yeah.
And you were so beautiful. You came in and you just stood there. And I honestly thought I would cry in the shower for like...
It wasn't that long.
It was like 10 seconds. It was like 15 seconds. And then I was like, I think I'm done. Yeah. Literally 15 seconds.
But I think also while we were fighting, that also gave you time to...
Yeah, process
kind
and
of
stuff.
Process it all. And then because it was done, you're like, well, it's done. Now what?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what happens next is we go looking at some more. So we back online, looking at more properties. And we were on the Wednesday. I think we got the email at like 4 o'clock, 4:45, like on Wednesday. And then literally by 5 o'clock, I was already back online looking because I'm like, okay, if you're going to, worst case scenario, this is honestly happening. I want to see what stock's on the market still because like we'd sort of just stopped after that. Yeah.
We were right back into it and literally we pick up the keys on Friday. Like we now have an executed lease and bond is like everything is done, although it sort of had happened last time. But this for me now, at the time, we went straight back into it. You said to me yesterday, all that has happened is literally it's put us behind, quote unquote, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And all of this has happened. So what then happened, what transpired is done and dusted, wiped our hands, better not bitter, fought for the vision instead of against the wrongdoing and moved on and kept going and pushed harder and I got hungrier. Hey, I was like, right, this is going to be the best and biggest and we are going to be the most formidable space on I'm so grateful it happened because now then we found...
Space
you drove me back past this one.
Well, this one here, like, come on our radar, but then we looked at it and was like, oh, okay, it's probably not exactly what we want.
Initially, definitely.
Because it wasn't as big as the other one, but then we found out that there's another property on the property that we could get as well. And we're like, oh, hold up. I was like, so we looked at a different one, sorry, not the one that we ended up getting. Well, we looked at a different one and we went through it and it had potential, but it then...
Not really, friends.
Then it didn't tick off all the boxes. I'm like, I'm not settling.
Nah.
We seen what's possible.
Yeah.
And then we know what we don't want. So we looked at it and was like, it has some of the stuff we want, but like I said, we're not going to settle.
Nah.
We know the vision, we know the dream. So from then I go, how about we just drive past this other one?
You had found this one and it's not online really. It's like in the depths of, you'd have to really go looking for it because it is a owner to market. Yeah. So the owners, they're not dealing with the real estate. So imagine my fucking delight at that alone when we got there. So you drove me past.
We drove by and we looked in and we read the sign. So I got sign excited. At the front of them, and then we're like, oh, we can. This is actually good. So
I got very excited. I was like, oh fuck.
We rang them straight up to like, is there a possibility that we can actually go for a walkthrough? And she's like, yeah, that's no dramas.
Well, we rang up, and it was you're speaking direct with the owner. It was the owner's like GM of 20 years or something. Like, she's incredible. And then I was speaking to her and she said, look, let's not waste each other's time. We're looking for a very specific client. I'm going to be very honest with you. This is her. I'm going to be very honest with you. We have had hundreds of people come through, many, many, many applications, but we are being, shouldn't say savage, she's picky essentially.
Yeah,
because
so they're not in a hurry.
Yeah. She's like, we've got money. It's not about money for us. We are looking for the right tenant long-term in this space. It's a hobby thing. So the owners are really successful in another industry, and commercial real estate is like a hobby for them. And so they have money, they have time. They're like, we're not in a rush. And we started to explain to them the Dreamhaus vision and literally said, well, this is our name, the Dreamhaus, and this is the vision we have for the space, which I couldn't. Yeah, we were careful to do in other spaces, but we were telling her and she was like, you are it. Like, this is who we're looking for. And then that's when we were like, hey, can we come past? Like, we're out the front of it. we've driven past, we're out the front of it, but would you walk us through it? And she said, we would love to. The owners will come tomorrow and we can do a walkthrough.
Yeah, so we met up with her and met the owners and the guy who lives on site on one of the other blocks. And he kind of maintains the whole area. So that was really good.
But what happened? So initially, it's huge. It's beautiful. It's like it's stunning. You'll see it. We're gonna have you already will have seen it probably. And if you haven't yet, go back to my Instagram. There will be a post on Friday. But we just wanted to obviously tell the whole story. But what then happened was so the number one concern with the original lease that we had basically secured, I had said to Ryan from day dot, the second we walked through it, because I am my own dream avatar, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm the dream client that I want in that space. I'm a podcaster. I'm going to hire the boardroom. I'm going to use a photo shoot studio. But I had said to Ryan, it was all under, beautifully and amazingly, but under the one roof. And I had said...
single access.
And single access. And I had said to Ryan, baby, we're going to have a problem. I'm telling you.
Logistics-wise.
Yeah, with people moving through the warehouse, because we've got a high-end client or just someone that's paid their dollars and their monies to book the studio for the day, and then there's people coming in and out to like also use the podcast studio, or there's a group of women that have booked the boardroom. If I've booked that shoot studio, I don't want every motherfucker walking through. Like, I want my music on. Like, I don't want that disruption. Yeah. And I said to Ryan, I literally had said, I just think it's going to become a problem. I just think it's going to become, I'm telling you, the limitation we're going to have with that space probably will become that if someone books the photo shoot studio, the rest of the stuff can't necessarily get booked out. And I said, well, FAFO, we'll fuck around and find out. But that's my opinion on the space. Anyway, we saw this space, and what initially we were like, oh, it's not what we were looking for, because it's like an enormous, like, beautiful shoot area, essentially, the warehouse. Then there's like another level and layout like downstairs, and that would be the boardroom. Yeah. So that's sort of one area contained, both with like multiple access points.
Different access points in each.
And then, so I was like, oh my God, I got so excited. And then just down the driveway is another access point to the other warehouse that obviously we could rent as well, which we are and we have. And I said, and that's becoming the Tour Collective warehouse and shipping point upstairs. And then downstairs is the podcast studio. And I said to Ryan, I was like, because initially you were like, well, baby, it is not sort of what we wanted. And I'm like, I think this is better. Yeah. I think this is fucking it, because we can now have a booked and busy podcast studio. They can come and go as they please. Like, and not be interrupting if women have booked the boardroom, and not be walking through people that are doing a shoot. And all of our areas now, which I am obsessed with, are separate, completely separate, like walled separate. So,
yeah, it's like I said, like you said from the start, we got better, not better. Yeah. And we're really looking forward to taking ownership of this space and making it our own, and looking forward to seeing whoever comes through to fulfill their dreams. Like, we want people to come in and use our space to make their dreams come true. Yeah. Hence the name of the of the warehouse is the Dreamhaus.
Yeah.
Because this is the space that we want people to be open and free and be able to see their visions come alive as well, not just ours.
Yeah. It's for the visionaries, the creatives, the dreamers, the doers, 100%. And I am so proud. I am so excited. I am honestly so grateful for you because you are so stoic and you just held the space for me whilst I raged and fought. What did you say? You were like, I have seen why you were the bulldog. Like, you were like, oh, this is why people stand no chance. I'm like, yes. Like, I will, if there is an injustice, I will get to the fucking bottom of it. I got to the bottom of it and then I was like, beautiful. I can walk away. And we got better, not bitter. We have found better. And now what I love, and I said to Ryan as well, is in the other space, albeit it was beautiful and it absolutely opened my own eyes up. I know yours as well, but you actually held far bigger vision than I. Like you were the king in this. Yeah. I was still like princess mode, I think. Like not queen. Like it was so big. Whereas you pulling me into that vision, then I was like, oh my God, now I'm like, we're going to get the herringwood floorboards. We're going to I've got such a bigger vision for this space now, but we get to design it from the ground up. So I am fucking excited.
Yes, but it is going to be a very, very busy next couple months though to get this up and out off the ground.
Yes. We'll be painting. I think my contribution will be painting and moving some furniture. I can't build a wall.
Yeah, that's why we pay people to come do it.
We're paying the monies.
Yeah.
No, so that's where we're at, my friends. So the Dreamhaus is launching this Friday. Officially, we picked the keys up. The space will be absolutely up and running within 6 to 8 weeks.
End of March.
No, baby. It'll take about 8 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks.
What are we now?
We're about to be in March. We picked the keys up the 1st of March.
This year's gone too fast already. Holy
baby,
shit.
you knew this. End of March, 4 weeks?
No, it's hell no.
No, we anticipate it will take 6 to 8 weeks. And that was the other thing. We won't go into too much detail. But
I still had the 14th of February in my head.
Yeah, okay. Which it was going to be 6 weeks. Yeah. But 6 to 8 weeks, we will absolutely be having a launch party. Everyone will be invited if you're from anywhere. But yeah, what I hope to get across, obviously, like I said, this was all about the warehouse and because it's going to take up an enormous part of our life this year, which I am so excited for. Next episode, we are going to be talking about our fertility journey, which is also going to be taking
our other journey we've started at the start of this year.
But what I hope that you get from this episode, other than expanding your own possibility of your own dreams, is when a door closes, knock on a bigger one. When injustice is served, don't get bitter, get better. And when a dream seems like it's ended, like that was really fucking crushing for us in an instant. We were like, oh shit. Like the best space was just ripped from us, blah, 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 blah. Instead of thinking like, why us? Like life happened, this always happens. It was like, beautiful, this is happening for a reason. We got hungrier, we got better, we got more determined, we got more motivated. And
I think it's the importance of where you focus your energy too. Like people focus their energy on what's wrong with them and then they dwell on it and they just focus. So focus your energy on the right path. So when you do have something against you, you can either waste your time and dwell on that and put your energy into negativity, or you can get better and focus on, okay, that happened. What do I need to do next?
Yeah, you're the king of that though. You would listen to that, man, because that's definitely something you do.
Yeah.
I can even sit in the dwell of like, wow, but you were like, come on. So anyway, we got to go because we're actually going to go inspect a house now. So we can't be late, otherwise we'll miss it. But we hope that you are excited. We hope that explained enough of the situation of why we shared it so excitedly and we were allowed to, and why the plan has changed and what occurred and what happened. We also then kept it under wraps, all of it under wraps until this moment, because I gave a line away before, but fuck, there's some people in my life that just like to intertwine themselves in business that isn't theirs too. So there are a lot of things in general anyway that we deal with in private and then share when we can, because there is always a lot of attention on my life, which sounds insane because there shouldn't be. Like, there really shouldn't, but there is. So
it's hard when you're open and honest all the time too, and you just want to, that's just how you live your life.
Yeah.
And it's fine, but haters will be haters.
Haters will hate. This one we had to just like figure out, launch, get the keys so no one could call councils and do anything fucking ratty. And then, succeed, dominate, which we can't wait for.
Yeah,
so
we're good. We got us.
I love you, baby. Team, I don't even know. Ryan, who knows? But stay tuned, because next episode we will be doing that 2-part episode on fertility, which I cannot wait to share the whole story yet again. Lots to update you on. And until then, my friends,
thanks so much for listening to another episode
Stay
of
wild.
Anything Goes.
Right,
and if
thanks,
today's episode gave you maybe a new perspective, a little bit of a laugh, you learned something new, or just loved our trip to Taboo Town if we went there, it would honestly mean the world to me if you could leave me some love with writing a review and sharing this episode to your socials. You have no idea how much that helps my little podcast get out in the world. If you love what you gain from these conversations weekly with me as well and want more than just listening in, come and join my inner circle. It's my monthly mastermind where for just $47 a month, the real magic happens. You get me up close, no filter, live coaching. And if you get what you get from this free podcast, imagine what you get in a paid container. Links are in the show notes, friends. And until next time, stay wild.